started. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right. I apologize for the delay, but we wanted to give everyone time to make it, as well as fix a plate, the abundant spread that was provided. We are so thankful for our host here at Webb Middle School. Yes.
Always welcome.
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. We are going to go ahead and get started. So I want to call the meeting to order. And I'm going to ask Danielle to come on up and lead us in prayer.
If everyone would please stand and bow with me. All right, dear righteous and most heavenly Father, we come to you just saying thank you. Thank you for waking us up this morning, Lord. Thank you for your grace, your mercy, and your countless blessings. I ask that you please watch over us at this meeting today. Continue to watch over the GAABSE organization. Watch over us as we strive to make an impact on Garland ISD. And watch over us as we embark on the end of another school year. Please continue to watch over us and hold us with your righteous hand. These are many blessings. I ask in your son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Does everyone have a litany? So it's the plastic sheet. And I'll ask that you stand as we read our litany of commitment.
Stand if you can.
Okay. We dedicate this meeting to the qualitative improvement of education for African American students and the collaborative support of African American educators. We rejoice that African American educators and supporters are assembled under the banner of the Texas Alliance of Black School Educators. We ask God's guidance as we deliberate concerning the issues affecting the education of African American students and the role and importance of African American educators. To the honor of the Black community and to all of those who share a responsibility in the education of African American children, to the administrators, teachers, parents, and community leaders who are responsible for the quality of education for African American children,
We dedicate this meeting
to overcome the low levels of performance for masses of our children, the loss of African educators, and the serious questions about the content of education, traditional, academic, and cultural.
We raise our collective voices and urgent demand for equality and excellence in education.
To call for new and extended independent African American initiatives in education, to the need to redress prior deprivations caused by slavery, segregation, racism, and poverty.
We pledge our commitment to do what is necessary for ourselves, as we understand that some things we must do for ourselves.
We, the benefactors of many who shed blood and life years to bring us to this point, are grateful for our heritage and this opportunity to go forward with the unfinished legacy. We dedicate ourselves to the education and service of African American children and educators throughout the nation. Thank you. Hi, welcome. Hopefully you received earlier via email the old business. And so if you are not on our listserv, please let us know. I want to thank you for being here as we are going through testing and coming toward the end of the year and having more things on the agenda. We are truly appreciative of you taking the time to come. So I want us to go ahead and jump into the general business. We have our March minutes. If you did not get a copy of the minutes, they were right there as you came in. If there's anyone that needs a copy, raise your hand and I'm happy to pass one on. If you'll take a couple of moments to review those. Oh.
Already.
I did want to make a comment about
the minutes, the question and answer session that Dr. Lopez did for us, I transcribed in what they call in vivo coding, which means I took verbatim what he said, but I only took snippets. So that's why I referenced it with the YouTube. So if y'all want to see exactly what he said in context, then you can go there and watch again if you have a question about any of the meanings of the answers that I just gave snippets of. Are there any corrections? Do I have a motion to accept?
I move that we accept the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye. All those opposed, nay. It's been properly moved and seconded to accept the minutes. Thank you.
It is.
Should I say the daily report for later or do it now also? Financial report
Later.
again.
All right. So we suspended the financial report for March the 20th, 2018. So I'm going to cover that as well as our April financial report. So the financial report for March 20th, 2018, the ending balance as of January 16th, 2018 was $9,229.48. We had expenses in the amount of $2,962. Excuse me, 9,000. Excuse me. Oh, want me on camera? Okay, sorry. $2,962.15. We had a total income of $2,604.92, bringing our GAABSE balance to $8,872.25. And I'll go ahead and go to the April report so that we can just do one vote. As ending balance as of March the 20th, 2018 was $8,872.25. We had total income of $6,492.92. We had total expenses of $4,459.33, bringing our GAABSE total to $13,810.84. As you would note on the financial report, we are now reporting for the John Washington Scholarship Fund, which is now at a balance of $4,468.74. And it splits out the GAABSE balance, which is $9,342.10. Is there a motion to accept?
I move we accept the financial reports.
Oh, is there a motion to accept the financial reports for audit?
I so moved.
Okay. It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
All right. So, as you know, we have been charged by our president to have 4 areas of focus. And one of those areas of focus is for us to have professional development and networking, community and youth development, as well as a Teacher of the Year recognition. So those are the 4 pillars of implementation. We've gotten our Teacher of the Year. Yay, check, we did that. Professional development, we have presented, but we also feel like, yes, we've got rock stars in our organization who go out and teach, but we want to make sure that you continue to be enriched, that you continue to walk away learning. So you notice that we are using the flipped meeting model so that we can take care of old business prior to the meeting, so that when we meet, we can have time to be developed professionally ourselves, as well as network. So without further ado, we have our first presenter for the evening. I'm going to allow Dr. Courtney Johnson to tell you more about who he is and what he does. So as he's getting ready to present, if you have not gotten something to eat, get something to eat, get something to drink, because after Dr. Johnson, the fun doesn't stop there.
How y'all doing today? Good. Sure. Yeah, how's everybody doing today? I know we got a lot of things we have to do. I know you have to NAACP meeting. I want to thank GAABSE for bringing me in to prevent some professional development that I presented in several areas. Actually, tomorrow I'll be presenting this in Toronto, Canada, of all places. But again, my name is Dr. Courtney Johnson. I've been an educator nearly 20 years. I taught every grade level from pre-kindergarten to 8th grade. Most recently, I was an administrator. I've been an administrator in elementary and secondary as well. And the reason you see math fluency, I take pride in mostly being a math coach. I spent several years being a math coach in the Fort Worth Independent School District. And I was able to have a lot of success with my students every year, exemplary multiple years, had multiple grade levels, scoring 100%. And the same skill sets that I utilize with my students are utilized in this book. I brought handouts, but there's enough people for me to pass books around. So I actually just went and passed the book around. Let's get started. It's a book that has basic facts and problem solving. I actually have worked with Mentoring Minds. I'm sure a lot of people might use Mentoring Minds. There's actually videos of myself on Mentoring Minds website right now dealing with some T-test things. But I've used to use Mentoring Minds myself, but I saw a gap. I saw there was something missing, and what was missing was the basic fact development. It's been absent since I was in school. So that's one thing I wanted to try to bring back to education because it's really absent when you look at most curriculums. What's unique about this curriculum is that we have just as many word problems as Mentoring Minds, Star Master, Green Apple. But what's different about our book is that for each standard, we provide homework, a bell ringer, and extra practice that you can see for each standard. Because one of the major problems that you have when you're dealing with STAR is you don't want to run out of problems. You might be on a readiness standard, you might be on the supporting, but you might have 15. You're like, oh Lord, I don't want to use them all in November. And when you get to August, when you get to April, or right now, I need some repetition going on. So I went into creating this book thinking about that. So when you look at 4.28, 3.28, for each standard for that bell ringer and for the homework and for the extra practice, they all look the same. What I wanted to do was help build fluency.
Sorry.
When you look at reading, what do pre-kindergarten and kindergarten teachers do? They're gonna give you that same book, and we're gonna read it over and over and over, and then we're gonna give you a high five when you read it without any help. And then we'll move on to the next. But we don't do that in education with math. Math is taught the total opposite. Henceforth, we have math fluency and problem solving. It's an abbreviated agenda. This is a training that hour and a half day, but I'm just going to give you the abbreviated 20 minutes to kind of just give you the crust of what we deal with. But today's agenda, well, we like to look at 4 different variables. We like to look at culture, how to help students retain information, neuroscience, and the subconscious mind, because the mind has been pretty much left out of education. We study intervention groups, we study publishers, we study everything else except how to help the brain retain information. We need neuroscientists in here before we need anything else. One thing that this book focuses on intently every day is the subconscious mind. Because when the subconscious mind is loaded and ready, the conscious mind doesn't have to really worry. But when I don't have my basic facts stuck in that subconscious mind, I'm trying to figure out the basic facts and solving the reading part of the problem all on the conscious mind. And when those basic facts are not stuck in the subconscious mind, that's when we end up having the issues of mathematical illiteracy and students not liking math because I haven't found any success. But with our book, you're going to find success from the first day. When you're on 3.2A, 4.2A, our 5th grade book will be out this summer. We're starting every student out every day with single-digit addition, single-digit subtraction. And then we move on to double-digit, then triple-digit. We're trying to follow some of the same research modalities that literacy researchers utilize. There's very little research on math fluency. So I've been kind of going at this and looking at literacy research and just trying to apply it to math research. Last, I'm going to look at show you how math fluency and problem solving currently is positively impacting student achievement in Dallas-Fort Worth. There's several school districts that have gotten the book. I had a district today that ordered 100 books. Several districts in DFW are utilizing the books today. So again, I'm thankful for you all to bring me out here to show you some of the things that we do have to offer. I'd like to start with a short quote real quick from W.E.B. Du Bois. I really felt it's pretty impactful. The first African-American to get a PhD from Harvard. Carter G. Woodson was the second, if you were just wondering. But he said, a poor teacher complains. A good teacher explains. An excellent teacher demonstrates, but a great teacher inspires. I always start out saying, I want you to be inspired today. Number one, because during my days as an educator and administrator, I couldn't stand boring trainings. And I want to make sure we have the opposite of that today. But let's start off, but what is fluency? Some would agree that fluency is the ability to speak, read, and pronounce and say a language. Could math be considered a foreign language? It could, because if you go to Hong Kong today, you might not recognize any of the language, but when you look at the clock and you see 3, you recognize that 3. You can go to North Korea, a 3 is a 3. Brazil, a 3 is a 3. Regardless, irrespective of where you go on planet Earth, math is the universal language that you can recognize everywhere, and it should be treated as such. And just like we stated earlier, reading fluency requires letters and sounds and digraphs and blending all those together. Like I said, I used to teach pre-K, so I was literally teaching 4-year-olds how to read. And math fluency consists of counting, adding, subtracting, and skip counting, and knowing how to do that backwards and forwards. What is math fluency? Like I said, there's very little research on math fluency out there. So I went ahead to the parent mathematical organization in our country, which is the National Council of Teaching Mathematics. And there's one key word on there. What's the main word on there? Procedures. Math is about knowing how to proceed. Math fluency is about knowing how to proceed. How to proceed. Let's look at this the same way we look at a teak. First thing we look at a teak when you got your teacher. All right, let's look at the verbs. Let's look at the verbs. Math fluency is the ability to look at this verb, apply what? Let's take the word procedures out. Plug the word basic facts in. Take procedures out and just say basic facts.
Basic.
So it's the ability to apply what? Accurately, efficiently, and flexibly. And then another verb, what? Those same what? Basic facts to different problems and contexts. So we're dealing with basic facts when we're talking about fluency. To build or modify another verb, basic facts, from other what? Basic facts, and to recognize when one strategy or basic fact is more appropriate to apply than another. That's where the rubber meets the road, especially with 3rd grade math. I got all these numbers, 4 or 5 different numbers. Am I going to add them? Am I going to subtract? Am I going to multiply? Am I going to divide? That's what this training is on, showing students how to know exactly what to do. Nothing subjective, strictly objective on using some of the strategies that we have for it. But before you can become fluent in math, you've got to understand how to utilize the number 1. Philosophers have stated that the number 1 is the most powerful number in the universe. Let me give you some examples to show you why. Because this morning, one son woke everybody up. One smile can brighten your day. One book can change your thinking. One creator blew breath into your lungs this morning. One teacher can change your life. One sermon can get you up all week long, 2 weeks before start. One firm handshake can give you the assurance that you need. One, not 21, not 1,000,001. One mother brought you into this world. Even the word universe, uni means word, uni means one. The word verse means song. One song. That means everything is in harmony. One. And one tally mark. One tally mark is what I was able to help my students understand, and that's what led to the high levels of achievement that my students had. Constantly knowing how to understand how to utilize tally marks. When I was a math coach, I would be working with students from kindergarten all the way to 5th grade. When I'm working with kindergartners, I'm thinking, okay, when I'm looking at you and you're 5, I'm thinking, all right, when you're 8, I need you stepping into that 3rd grade classroom, adding and subtracting with proficiency, with regrouping. That's where I need you. So when I'm working with students, I'm not working with shapes. I'm not working with area. I'm not working with nothing else. Adding, subtracting, let's go. Because in 3rd grade, can you add and subtract? In 6th grade, can you divide? That's all we care about. Baseline. So when I'm working with students, I'm showing them tally marks. All right, what number is it? 4. Write down 4 tally marks. Plus what? 3 more. Let's go. Count them up. I'm dealing with kindergartners every day. This is what we're doing, nothing else. So it might be ugly that first day, but the second day it's going to be a little smoother. That 3rd day it's going to be a little smoother. 4th and 5th day, they're feeling like mathematicians. I don't even need to pull out the manipulatives. When I started teaching, I never had manipulatives. So I had to create tally marks. I didn't have counters and all the rest of that. Those things on the east side of Fort Worth. Back in 2000, I didn't have that. Again, I'm giving them the repetition. They're seeing each day. I'm giving them a sheet that looks just like this. Now, next skill set I move on to is multiplication. My students achieved 100% multiple years. Why? Because all of my students knew how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide with proficiency. I have always taught any student I've ever had how to multiply in 60 seconds or less, and they never needed me again. I know y'all looking at me like, man, this dude is crazy. You don't know what he's talking about.
I just want to know how.
Let me show you now. When you step into my class, I don't care if it's November, it's your first day of school, come on over here. And as you can see with my fluency practice sheets, I'm giving you 1 to 12 multiplication every day. 3rd grade every day. 4th grade every day. I'm not assuming anything. I'm not going to say, well, some of them are high. No, because I've been in middle school where I've had 70% of my students not proficient in basic facts. And then next thing I know, you slide them into 8th grade math and they got a calculator. So they stay mathematically illiterate the rest of their lives. So how does that work? Do I teach you how to multiply in 60 seconds or less? Look at the fluency practice sheet. For example, I use the 6s. Typically, I take the pencil. I'm like, all right, come on. Whatever your name is, first day of school, first day of class. All right, we're going to do 6 times 1. We're going to do it with tally marks. 6 times 1, I'm going to draw 6 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So 6 times 1 is what? 6. And then we're right here. And like, all right, watch me. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, what? 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, what? 18. By the time I get to 18, they snatching the pencil out of my hand. I got this, Dr. Johnson, and they're moving. They're on. They never need me again. The only time they ever need me is if I'm walking around checking for understanding and I see somebody stuck on their 9s, I'm like, hey, what's wrong? What's the problem? 9 tally marks. Let's go. Count them. Move on. Because here's what you got to understand. When we make students utilize arrays and drawing these big long arrays, they hate that. They'll do it for a minute to make you happy, but they do not want to do that. They're miserable. So I want to define a microwave way of teaching my students multiplication. I never had to teach them again. First day with me, I don't care if you're special ed, I don't care if you're special whatever, you multiply the first day when you with me, period. And if you don't believe me, bring me your school and I'll show you. Moving on to 6s, 12s, every day. That's the first thing I'm giving you when you step in with me. There's nothing else to talk about. As you see the left side of my fluency practice sheet, and I stay on the fluency practice because remember, we need to save our problems. We have a finite amount of problems. We can't just give them 20 problems of a readiness standard in November. I can give you like 4 or 5, and I need to hold on to those. But like I said, I wanted to give you multiple repetitions in 3.28, 4.28, 5.28 before you even get into the problems. And when you look at it, I give you a problem of the day every day. When you look at that problem in the square at the top of the fluency practice sheet, there's no A, B, C, D. When you take the answer choices away, it automatically raises the rigor 2 levels off top before you do anything. You're having to create your answer. You're having to synthesize and create. I can't just look like, hold on. He put B there. Okay, yeah, I'm good. No. I need work. I need to see work. Moving on. Like I said, the foundation of all operations is mathematics. It's tally marks. And as I studied tally marks, I saw that my initial travels took me to Egypt. But even when I started studying math deeper, does anybody know where the first mathematical instrument ever came from? It came from the Lubombo region of Southern Africa. The instrument is called the Lubombo bone. It's the fibula of a baboon that has 29 tally marks on it. Some philosophers stated that the tally marks represented the lunar calendar. Some stated that it could have been a woman trying to keep up with her menstrual cycle, but those are some of the conclusions that were drawn. It is 37,000 years old and can be seen in Berlin today. The second oldest was the Ishwango bone, found in the southwestern region of Africa, called the Ishwango region of Southern Africa, 20,000 years old. This, again, it was on the fibula of a baboon again. It had 60 tally marks on it, but the tally marks were divided up into prime numbers, 20,000 years old. And then, as everything else in civilization started at the bottom of Southern Africa, transferred up, Egypt was more of a place of kind of like New York. Everybody from Africa kind of came here to trade, move, learn, and that's what Egypt ended up being. Egypt was also the first civilization to have an organized numeracy system where people could learn from, as you can see evidence on this next slide. And when you come to 1, what's the first thing you see? What represents 1? Tally marks. We've got to teach students tally marks. Mathematics has changed because we teach conceptual. That's all they do is teach conceptual. Basic facts have been pulled out of it. That's why math, fluency, and problem solving is winning, because we're doing both at the same time. And like I said, students, you must show students how to utilize tally marks. It's at the soul of who they are. It's how math was created. Now, we're doing all these other types of manipulatives, 100 manipulatives, online, this and that. Tally marks is the beginning. Tally marks is the beginning, and it's the easiest way to do all 4 operations. Critical questions. Do your students know when to add, subtract, multiply, and divide? At the end of the day, when you're a 3rd grader stepping in, do they know what to do? Do your students understand the words and inferences that influence the operations and procedures? Can your students accurately, efficiently, and flexibly use operations and procedures? Can they do that? We're talking about those fluency words again. And how should students move through a problem? The next slide is going to lay a foundation for you. Whenever students stepped into my class, first day of school, you get your multiplication table. Second thing, before we even start problem solving, I'm telling you about the Johnson problem solving law. The Johnson problem solving law. Here's why all my students were at the top. Like what did Beyonce say? I'm always top 2 and I'm rarely number 2. My students was rarely number 2. We was always at the top. The Johnson problem solving law. I always tell students, you've got to know the tools. I can't step in the basketball gym down the hall not knowing that if I take 3 steps, I'm traveling. That's what I need to know before the ball goes out. So I always tell students before you get started with anything, numbers can only do 2 things, period. Nothing else to talk about. They're either going to get bigger or they're going to get smaller. That's it. Nothing else to talk about. Instead of looking at that problem and wondering, am I going to press sine, cosine? What am I going to do? I don't even know. But what operation gets bigger? Obviously what? What else gets bigger? And don't you see how a multiplication sign is really nothing but an addition sign, kind of just turn to the side a little bit. And like I always tell my students, they both look alike because they both do the same thing. What gets smaller? What else gets smaller?
Division.
This is simple, isn't it? And you see how they both look alike because they both do the same thing. We've got to simplify it. Now, how do we apply the Johnson problem solving law? Next slide. When to use operations and procedures. When am I adding? When am I subtracting? What does it look like? Before I gave my students problems, I would give them quick scenarios just like this, just to calibrate them. Just like you administrators need to be calibrating with your APs when y'all doing those walkthroughs. Don't walk in and do one and then not walk in with another AP walk in. I get something totally different on T-test. So I calibrate my students so we're all thinking the same, they're all thinking the same way, and they know how to interpret these concepts. Because if John lost $40, bigger or smaller?
Smaller.
How you know? He lost something. So this is part of the calibration process. Because this stuff is subjective. You've got to bring some objectiveness to it through having those critical conversations. We can't just throw them out there. Give me something. All right. Sharon found $100. What's happening? Bigger or smaller?
Bigger.
How you know? She found something. Those are basic things, basic concepts they understood before they even got to school. Alice ate 15 chicken wings. Bigger or smaller? Bigger or smaller? Smaller. However, there's glad you said that, because this is a multifaceted concept. Because you can apply this into financial literacy. Because he ate 15 chicken wings, but what happened to the money for the restaurant? What happened to the surplus of chicken wings? So in so many different ways to think bigger or smaller. Numbers are only doing two things, bigger or smaller. All my students understood this before I gave you any problem. A store received 25 boxes with 8 items in each box. Bigger or smaller? How you know? Before I even get there, I always tell students, whenever you see that word each, big red flag, it's multiplying or dividing going on somewhere. So off top, you can subtract, multiply, and add and subtract it. So instead of 4 choices, I'm going to 2. So they're able to understand more because it's less. 25 hot dogs shared by 5 people, bigger or smaller? How you know? My favorite question is how. They're sharing. Basic concepts. How much faster is a cheetah than a fox? Bigger or smaller? It's one of them. Bigger or smaller? Bigger. Come on, risk takers. Bigger. It's going to be smaller. Why? Anything faster, bigger, longer, stronger, you're comparing. And then how do I break it down to a 3rd grader or a 2nd grader? Like, man, look, am I going to put a cheetah on top of the head of a fox? They're like, no. So what? Obviously, what's happening? Smaller. Simple. 25 sodas and 50 bottles of water. Bigger or smaller? Bigger. You got to understand the word and, but they can throw and in there and it can mean subtracting too. A lot of different ways to interpret that. Kim had $40 and wanted to give 4 children $10 each. Bigger or smaller? How you know? How you know? She's giving something. I got this, I gave it, so my number's getting smaller. 8 boxes of computers with 10 computers in each box, bigger or smaller? And everybody, you got to understand something. This is subjective, which means we got to talk about it. It's like qualitative data. We got to talk about it and think about it and synthesize it. It's not objective. It ends up becoming objective because math is objective. But it's subjectivity all throughout, and you have to have those critical conversations in your classrooms. And I'll come help you have them if you need me to. This is all I do. This is all I do. I write math books. This is what I do. The Johnson problem-solving law again. Bottom line, my students know the words tell the numbers what to do. Numbers can't do anything without words. Words give direction. Words let you know what's happening. If I got a bunch of numbers out there, that's not happening. That's toss. That's not even that. We skipped over one. That's way back in the day. So students understand, I need you to feel that the numbers are getting bigger because it's not going to always be objective. You've got to feel it. Just like you can feel if somebody likes you, just like you can feel if somebody does not like you, just like you can feel hate. You can feel those things. You don't need a judge to come in and let you know if somebody hating on you. You know off top. And you don't need anybody to prove it to you. So we got to get students to understand that third mind. But we got to understand the society that we live in, which is a Western society. They don't respect the mind. They only respect things that can be proven. That's why you have to have research to support what you're saying. But we're dealing with objectivity and subjectivity here. And just like you can, like I said, you can feel those things. You have to let your subconscious mind speak to you. And after you felt bigger or smaller for so long, it's a muscle in your brain that can catch it. And it's the same skill set. And when they go to middle school, it's totally easy because middle school problem solving is actually easier than elementary. You can read a keyword in middle school, you automatically know what you're doing. But can you do that slow? Can you apply the rate? Can you do it? Can you come up with those factors? So that's where it comes in, being able to understand those factors. And my fluency practice sheets, again, I want to show you how they're broken up because I don't like to look at category 1, category 2. Because when you're trying to break it down at the end of the year, man, you know how many TEKS are in 3.2 and 3.3 in category 1? Do you know how many TEKS are in category 2? So what we do is all our fluency practice sheets in the knowledge and skill statement 3.2 and 4.2 and 5.2 is all place value. We have nothing but place value that is spiraling and repetitive over and over again to build that path in their mind. So it's subconscious, and their conscious mind doesn't have to work like that. I need your subconscious mind to work, and your conscious is chilling, just trying to see which way we're going. And on down, 3.5, all operations, multi-step problems. Those are the skill sets we have. When you get 3.6, it's all geometry. That's why I put the book in front of you so you can kind of see how it builds. It's repetitious. It spirals. Let me just stop you real quick. I want to go to Bermuda real quick. Bermuda is telling you, this is the place to be. We don't want you going. We don't want you going to DR. We don't want you going to the Bahamas. We want you coming right here. This is the place to be. Does the climate in your classroom say this is the place to be? Because my book is going to work. But if you just throw it to a student and think it's going to work like that, no, it's not going to work. No book is going to work like that. In your classrooms, is it old posters or is it new anchor charts? Because when I walk in the classroom on the first day of school as the administrator, I'd rather see a blank classroom with nothing on the wall. And then on the third day of school, it's full of anchor charts as opposed to the teacher that got the little tree hanging there, stapled to the wall, and she just knocked the dust off and kind of just keep it going. Don't act like y'all don't know. Am I the only one that's ever seen that before? Yeah. Okay. How do students get help in the classroom? I'm a CHAMPS trainer. Help is critical. Help is the number one thing. How often do students read aloud? How am I on time? I know I need to stop in one moment, like 1 minute. 3? Okay, cool. How often do you assess students with feedback, which is critical? Number one in the classroom, because what got my students successful was 2 things. Me checking for understanding constantly, and then knowing their basic facts. Because Brother Washington, I can look at you right now, and I can kind of assess you like, yeah, Brother Washington, he's paying attention. Let me see his paper. I can't really see it. And I put how often do you assess with feedback and smell a cologne on there because one of my favorite rappers used to say, if you have my name in your mouth, you're going to be smelling my cologne. And I love that metaphor. Instead of saying I'm going to do something violent, I'm going to come right to you and see what the deal is. So for me to assess Brother Washington, y'all can have it. That's free. Y'all can bring me in. But if I'm trying to assess Brother Washington, for me, I can say he looks like he's paying attention. But for me to truly assess him, I got to be so close on Brother Washington that he can smell my cologne. And if you can't smell my cologne, guess what? You're not close enough. You're not checking for understanding. Your students are not getting feedback, and you're wondering why your scores are not where they need to be with the curriculum-based assessment. You're not giving feedback. You're just sitting there. I had a teacher ask me at a charter school 2 weeks ago, well, Dr. Johnson, I give exit tickets. Tell me what you think about exit tickets. I got 2 questions for you, Mr. Exit Ticket Lady. When are you checking the exit tickets? Number 1. And number 2, when are your students getting feedback? If they're not getting feedback, take them and flush them down the toilet. You're wasting your time. Too many times, it'll be a student, they'll make a mistake on Monday. That mistake don't get checked until next Thursday. Until I'm in my planning period and you got all of them wrong. Oh, Lord. John, I got to call this. Man, that happened 2 weeks ago. You could have checked that right then. Grades mess up problems. Grades mess up classrooms. How? Because you don't want to help them. Nah, I want them to get a grade. I got to get my 2 grades this week. Man, you need to be helping. When I'm math coach, why do my students score 100%? Because when you come to me and you work on that fluency practice sheet, all I gave them was fluency practice. That's all I gave them. 1 problem a day. Don't give them 10 problems a day. You're going to waste your problems. One problem a day is all you need to get. One. You give them away too early. Then when it comes to you really needing, you have nothing. You scrambling, finding star sheets all on the internet and Google because you run out. That's why we're here. $15. I'm giving it to you almost. $15. Moving on real quick. $15. That's it. All right. I hate I had to go through all of this, but I had to go through some good stuff. But I went through that to get here. Too many students walk in middle school doors with a negative balance. Who's ever had a negative balance? Right there. Is that just me? Am I the only one? Y'all from? Okay. I guess I just make bad decisions sometimes. Too many students walk in middle school doors with a negative balance. I'm an elementary guy. I'm in my middle school and I got sixth graders not adding and subtracting. I'm like, dog, where'd you come from? What school you go to? Where'd you come from? In the K2 curriculum, there's not enough adding and subtracting. Kindergarten curriculum, there are 3 addition and 3 subtraction lessons in the curriculum, period. Check it tomorrow. Let me know what you think. 6 lessons of adding and subtracting for a whole 180 days? Yes. And then when I get to first grade, I've been in all the classrooms. I'm telling you what it looks like. First grade teachers work harder than any other teacher in education. Why? Half of my class know their letters and sounds, and they're ready to do something. Half the class just got here, and they don't know their letters and sounds, and we got to read these directions. 3 lines of directions we got to read. And then we read through the directions. We struggle through. We do our 8 problems in the little Pearson book, and then that's it. Come to school the next day, we doing something totally what? You know it. And then we wondering why students walking in 3rd grade not knowing. Come on, man. We know it, but we don't want to say nothing. Like it's too wordy. In the 3rd grade through 5th grade curriculum, by the time I get in 3rd grade, I'm barely adding and subtracting. I've never, ever met a 3rd grader that stepped in subtracting with regrouping ever in my life. If you find one, take a picture and put it on LinkedIn. Real talk. I've never had one because they playing in second grade too. And only a select few master all the skills. The only ones master them are y'all's kids because you got to sit at that doggone table working at 8 o'clock at night and they know their faces. Mama got a belt right there on the table and you're going to get it. You look off again. How you not going to learn like that? How you not going to learn like that? Neural pathways. What our book is creating is neural pathways. We're bringing the neuroscience into it. Because if I keep walking right here back and forth 100 million times, what's going to happen to the car? It's going to wear out. And that's what happens with our brains. Brother Watson, I never been in your house. But if you said, brother, I got the best boy, you let me cook some barbecue too.
Yes, he can.
But Brother Watson said, Dr. Johnson, I'm having a barbecue in my house. I'm over here in Rockwall off of, okay, Doc, what is it again? So I get off on Rockwall and then I make that, what I do, Doc? That's very little repetition. I've never been there. But once I go to Doc's house one time, and then again when I come back next summer, I can easily get there. This book is building neural pathways. In our 4th grade book, I have you converting a mixed number into an improper fraction every single day from 4.28 to 4.10e. You're doing it every day. Why? Because I've seen too many 6th and 7th graders that can't convert a fraction. So I created the book that's needed. And look at Drake, Lil Wayne, and Nicki Minaj. They were teachers of the year in 2011. Why? That's real talk. Hey, look that up yourself. Google it yourself. Teachers of the year, Better Place Education Organization in Florida. Why? And they were founded with correct evidence because of their ability to capture an audience's attention and communicate a consistent message. They named them teachers of the year because they hear their songs hundreds of times daily. But I get the 1st grade class, I'm doing 1.2A Tuesday, and then Wednesday I'm doing 1.2B. Where's 1.2A at? When am I going to see 1.2A again? Never. Until I get to 2.28. So understanding math, 6th grade and 8th grade teachers, you got to be able to go back to 3rd grade instantly. I get tired of seeing 6th, 7th grade teachers. You seeing they don't know those factors. You seeing they can't simplify that fraction. And you keep, oh, who hates this right here? I hate using the word hate. That teacher that's going to answer their own question. All right, y'all. We're trying to find the factors for 24. Let's go 6, 4, was it 6, 12, 18, 24, and they answer their own question. Then the low student in the back that can't do it, they never get an opportunity. Because this teacher's trying to catch up with her time. She's never giving, she's behind. She doesn't want to real teach. I'm a teacher. Y'all got that? Y'all got it? That's just one understanding right there. Come on, man. That might be it.
Oh, it's 6 o'clock. That's
all right. Sorry, y'all. That's just a little piece. It goes on and on and on. Let me know. I'll come back anytime. I love being here. And my daughter. Thank y'all for having me. Appreciate you. Thank you, man. Thank you for your. Appreciate that.
Yes.
I do training. I'll be in Toronto tomorrow. They got me in Toronto. I have not. I'm waiting for somebody to invite me. I'll be at the financial office in the morning.
Yes, that's right.
I'll be there.
I know it is. We gotta do a bite. I smoke a brisk.
And could you get on the vendors list, please?
Good.
Dr. Washington, please get on the vendors list. What a pain in the ass.
Johnson.
How that go?
Johnson.
Johnson.
Washington.
Dr. Johnson, please get on the vendor list. It's a long.
And don't do your application in Chrome because it don't work.
I'll be there.
I can only get on our website on okay, but they'll let you submit it on Chrome. So we have one of our major vendors click around on Garland ISD's website. Yes, because even I touched that bump because they did their application on Chrome instead of Explorer.
Really?
Oh, really? So it didn't recognize it.
Telling everybody.
So now we don't have a picture garden because we don't have pictures.
That even got you.
Oh, yeah. $15. Every standard. You're not going to waste your problem. I'll be there.
Hey, Courtney.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't get so.
No, ma'am. You're really busy.
No, I didn't have it with me. I was not there.
If anybody else need a call, let me know. Thank you.
Give one.
Yes, sir.
I make cook some barbecue.
Then I'm coming, guys. You look like your barbecue good.
You want to go to.
The PTA can pay for yes.
This is what I do.
They're not gonna buy books though, but they may pay for it.
This is a whole.
Well, still service girl. You need a call.
And then. What?
Mr. Washington, I thought it was back on. Did it go? Reach up there and push the button. Climb up there and push it.
Oh, gee, actually trying to save some money.
I might be able to reach it.
Right. There we go.
Give me my stick now.
Alright, guys, while we're getting ready, if I can have your attention real quick. While we're getting ready, I'm gonna go ahead and give the GAABSE Gala report. Everyone should have picked up the budget for the gala. Let's see, so our proposed budget, we had, we thought that we would raise about $2,700, but if you flip it over, you'll see that because of our sponsorship from the,
who is it?
OCB.
OCB Catering, and them offering their facility, we were able to remove that overhead. And so we actually received a profit for the John Washington Scholarship of $4,468. And we are still collecting a couple of more, just monetary donations. So this amount may go up, and you'll see that in our future reporting. But we had a really good gala. We sold 133 tickets. That's including tables and tickets. I believe that's the largest amount that we've done in a while. It surpassed last year's total of 120 tickets. I believe we awarded, we awarded 9 Golden Apple nominees and 3 Golden Apple recipients. We also awarded our Teacher of the Year, our Administrator of the Year, and our Paraprofessional of the Year. And everything else went really well. The silent auction cleared $2,105, and that's based upon purely everyone donating and creating those baskets. So that was really awesome. So we like to think that we're going to go up from here. Some other ways we're going to be working with some ways to eliminate the overhead in the future year. One would be by having a fundraiser prior to that to pay for a larger facility, because I'm thinking that we're only going to grow. So that we've already outgrown that facility that they offered us. So we'll have to use him for other things such as a breakfast and things like that. I think we have pictures that we want to show, a brief video of how nice everyone looked that night and what wonderful time we had. So we'll end with that. We'll end with that. Okay, so we'll end with that. I think we're ready now. So you're welcome.
All right, where's my folder? So, look, coming to the stage next, we have Nicole C. Smith. She's here with us. Nicole has experience and knowledge that makes her a valuable resource. She founded, is it Myland Corporation in 1999 with a strong commitment to build long-term client relationships. She is dedicated to educating clients on retirement, estate, insurance, and financial planning strategies. Through job changes, divorce, births, and deaths, Nicole works with clients to make sure their investment strategy and financial plan continue to be tailored to their specific needs. In addition to working with traditional financial advisory clients, Nicole specializes in working with the Educator Committee and their unique pension system. Nicole holds the following designations: Chartered Federal Employee Benefit Consultant, Texas Judicial Branch Certified Guardian, Certified Annuity Specialist, Life, Health, and Variable Annuity Insurance Agent. As an educator of retirement/investment planning with over 50 million under management, Nicole offers her clients a long-term commitment, assisting them in maximizing their returns and minimizing their taxes today and in the future. Her goal is to always be available, dependable, and honest in providing up-to-date financial guidance for clients and their families. And she is a supporter of GAABSE Scholarship Foundation. So give way, please, to Miss Nicole.
Thank you so much for allowing me to come in and speak to this great group. Your presentation was awesome. And it was a great segue because math and money are kind of like hand in hand. And money is the subject we never really want to talk about. For some reason, especially our community. You know the sign that people did? Our community. You are our community.
I've got my
3%. I heard that. So in our community, yes, in our community, we need the strong math knowledge. And along with that, we need strong money management skills that we don't have. And today I wanted to take a few minutes just to kind of remind you about your great pension system that you have. So I have a few slides. I hear the remarks. It's a great pension system. And we're going to start out with a video that has been published by Texas Retirement System, because it is really a great video. Oh, minimize that maybe. And then you can play the video. Minimize. Minimize.
You're good. Come over here.
There you go.
Why we've got this whole split screen.
There we
so
go.
when kids, you want to have something that they can't see. So that's why. Okay.
Volume.
And volume. Oh, it's on.
Meet Mary.
Oh, it is.
Hi, Mary.
Yeah, see?
Mary is a science teacher at a middle school. She's been a TRS member for 7 years. Mary has been worried lately that she's not saving enough for retirement. So when she discovers a new app that can call the future, she decides to check in on her future self.
Well, hello, Mary. I didn't expect to hear from you.
Hi, Future Mary. Have you retired yet?
Funny you should ask. I'm actually planning to retire at the end of this school year.
Do you mind me asking how much your TRS pension will be?
Not at all. I'll retire with 32 years of TRS service credit and a final average salary of $60,000. That will give me a standard annuity of over $44,000 a year, almost 74% of my final salary.
Will that be enough?
Maybe, but
No.
maybe not. Experts say you will need 70 to 90% of your pre-retirement income to maintain your standard of living. You could need more or less than that, depending on a number of factors like taxes or medical bills.
What else should I know?
2 important things. 1, don't assume you participate in Social Security. Most Texas school districts don't pay into the Social Security system. Check to see if yours does. 2, your TRS pension is not automatically adjusted for inflation. Although your pension may be enough to cover your expenses when you first retire, over time, your monthly annuity won't purchase as much due to inflation. You'll need to be able to cover the difference with your personal savings.
I feel like there's so much I don't know. How did you learn all of this?
Easy. I watched TRS's financial awareness video series. That's when I realized I would almost certainly need to supplement my TRS pension with personal savings.
So you started your own savings in addition to your pension?
I sure did. I opened a 403B retirement account right away and contributed as much as I could, even though I had to start small. Later on, I also opened a Roth IRA. As the years went by and my pay went up, I gradually increased my contributions to both.
Is there anything you would do differently if you could do it again?
I would have started saving earlier. I know now that a little money saved early will earn much more in compound interest than a lot of money saved later, but it's never too late to start. Good retirement all comes down to this formula, Mary.
TRS pension plan plus personal savings equals financially secure retirement.
That's right. You'll never regret the money you saved for retirement, only the money you didn't.
Thank you, Future Mary. I've learned so much. I better go now.
Bye, Mary. Don't forget to start saving.
If you called your future self right now, would you be as well prepared for retirement as future Mary? If the answer is no, it's time to start planning. Watch the estimate.
So Mary, which probably, how many of you are like Mary? My children are like Mary. I have 2 educators. They're both like Mary. So I have to force them, fill the paper out myself and force them to start saving now. It doesn't matter how much you start saving. It really doesn't. You have about 50 investment options on your TRS that you could start saving through. As long as you are not risky, and right now it's not a time really to be in the marketplace, in the stock market. I don't care what you start saving with. Does everyone understand the value of compound interest? Compound interest is huge. Huge. Our interests earn interest. That's money you never earned, you never had as your principal investment. So understand the goal is to start saving now. Let me go to, I only have about 4 slides or so. and we'll go through this briefly, and hopefully this will be some good information. How many of you have went out and watched the financial series videos? Have any of you ever logged on? How many of you have logged on to TRS? Okay, great. So those that have logged on to TRS, you've got your My TRS account set up.
Yep.
You know your tiers. How many of you know your tier?
Yes.
Okay, good. There are 6 tiers in TRS. So you have to know, go to the next one. You have to know which tier you're in. Each tier, okay. So here's what I want to do as an overview for TRS. So the purpose of TRS, of course, is to provide the retirement security and educate professionals like yourself. You are dedicating your time. You don't get paid as much as your corporate counterparts. So, but you do have a great pension. And I do say that wholeheartedly. I do think any money that you cannot outlive is good money. You know that saying, not all money is good money? This money is good money. You cannot outlive it. As long as you wake up that month, you're going to get a check at retirement. So you cannot outlive it. So it has the value. The funds how TRS operates, it collects contributions. Right now, you are paying 7.7% out of your check each pay period to the employee fund. Now, the fund works as a pay it forward. So you're not really paying 7.7% into your account necessarily. You're paying it forward for the future retiree. So in a sense, you are a future retiree, but by the time you retire, it'll be a new teacher coming in paying your retirement benefits. Benefits are payable at retirement, or if you become disabled, or to your upon your death, it will pay to your survivors. Lifetime benefits, you can't outlive your retirement benefits. So that's why I educate that it is a good system, and you should stay in the system as long as you can to earn more. At some point, you do max out. I retire a lot of employees within the education system from here to Houston. I'm all throughout the whole state. Everyone doesn't have a 70 or 76% return on their money. Some people have 50%. I retired a lady today. She had 32 years. She actually is retiring with about, I think it was 79% of her pay, which is good. Which is really good for the retirement system. Now, many of you may look and say, I can't live on 79% of what I made. But in this system, that is a good number, a good percentage to retire on. A lot of people try to yield to that, and it could be a matter of timing. So if you have online access, and those of you that do not have online access, I encourage you to log on and know your benefits. You come to work every day with these children. It's not an easy job. I give my hat off to you. I could not do it. So it's a hard job, right? So I applaud you for doing what I can't do. I want you to understand you have a value in your benefits. Know your tier, 6 tiers. In each tier, there are 3 different options of retirement. I go around and I hear, oh, it's the rule of 80, the rule of 90. And I'm like, okay, but you have 2 other options in every tier to retire. And people don't understand that. And I think it's because you're taking, John told me it was the rule of 80, or somebody was in the cafeteria selling an annuity. How many of you go to those annuity luncheons? Have you guys had them? Okay. I caution you, because when you work with your money, you need to have a relationship with your money. So if somebody's talking to you about your money, it needs to be that they have your best interests at hand. Okay. And so annuities are good at one point in your retirement, and at some points in your retirement, they're not good. It depends on your individual situation. So be very careful. The rule of 80, I caution you not to listen to that rule, because everybody says, well, it's just the rule of 80, but there may be an age requirement in your tier. That's why it's important to know your tier. Your pension facts, and this is straight off of, well, not really off of TRS. It's a little bit of the numbers came out of there. Many of you will not receive Social Security. Many of you will have to have at least 70 to 90% of your pre-retirement income to survive your lifeline. Next. So the goal is, what should I do? Save now. Start contributing to a 403B.
Yep.
There are, as I said, right now on the list, the TRS list, there are about 56 investment options out there. Get educated on which option suits your needs and your goals. Speak with someone that has your best interests. Depend on yourself. I have three subjects that I talk about when I sit with people. You know, you look at your personal savings. Are you going to get Social Security? You may. Does everyone understand the Social Security rule, the Windfall Act? Okay, it's 30 years in. If you have 30 years in, you get your full Social Security plus your full pension, and there's no reduction. Okay, for some people, when they're approaching retirement, I actually tell them it's maybe a good time. I have somebody I'm doing tomorrow. He's retiring based on the discussions that I've been having with him over this last 2 years. You're going to be better off if you leave this system and go work in Social Security for the next 15 years. He's young enough, he can do it, and then have both checks, full pension. So maximize your money at retirement. Maximize your money. That's the goal. Having multiple sources of income. Your 403B will be one income that you're going to have at retirement. Okay, because most of the 403Bs that are approved on the list have this long lifetime benefit on there. So it's maximizing your income. You could actually earn more in retirement if you start saving now. You could actually do it. Spousal benefits. I hear a lot, oh, my spouse has, 401k and my spouse, I can't tell you the amount of times that same person has called me back and said, my spouse died, or I'm getting divorced, or things are changing. What do I do? Okay, now you're on your own. You have to depend on yourself. Even if you do have a spouse and you are going to have that income, wonderful, that's additional income. Having multiple sources of income at retirement is crucial. Previous employer pension systems, you may want to check in and see where you've worked before. Did you leave money? I always tell people, do you go to the store and do you leave money at the cashier when you pay for something? No. So if you leave a job, you need to take your money with you. You need to take your money with you. You're no longer there. So you can roll that over into, I would prefer a Roth IRA. And remember, Mary had started a 403B, and then later on she started a Roth IRA. The reason she starts the Roth IRA is because it's an after-tax. At retirement, one of the concerns that a lot of my retirees have is balancing the pre-tax money they're getting from TRS and their taxable liability. TRS never takes enough tax out of the retiree check. They have their own tax table. I can't even understand it. And I thought I knew all about TRS until they started using a different tax table. But be aware that at retirement, you have to balance out my after-tax money. That's why I recommend everyone should have a Roth. You should all have a Roth. If you're putting money away, pre-tax, great. I love that idea. Get an after-tax product now, okay? Because you're going to need that after-tax money to pay the taxes on the pre-tax money that you've been collecting. Okay, so that's the balance there, but you need to have that. I would love for all of us in this room to develop a plan and an accountability. We all are going to get old. All of us. That's without doubt. Have a plan, have an action plan. Talk to a licensed expert. Make sure that they are experienced on your system, your pension system. Don't ever pay for advice. No client that I've ever sat with has ever paid me any money. So don't ever pay for advice. Understand that you have investment options. Those of you that raised your hand about going to the lunchroom and enjoying those free meals, they're usually with one company. I have 56 companies that are approved and certified under the TRS product. So speak with someone that has your best interest. And that's what the big rule is. The big rule came out about 2014. It was proposed through the DOL, and really the reason it was proposed is to protect you from the unscrupulous salespeople, those that come in through the cafeteria, through the free lunch program, I call it. Make sure that they're putting your best interest first, not the product they're selling. One product doesn't fit everybody. It just simply doesn't. It's impossible for it to fit everybody, one product. Know how much you would need. This is utterly important. I have a lot of retirees that say, oh, I'm still making payment on a house. And wait, we can't retire with this house payment. We have to have another strategy. How are we going to pay off the house? So your long-term housing cost has to be factored in. Have an effective planning budget. Consider your medical health care. Now TRS is requiring you to have Part A and B. It used to be that you could only have, you could have Part A and don't worry about getting B. Part B, everyone knows there's two parts to Medicare. Part B, you pay for. Today it's $147. Where are you going to get that money from? Is that going to come from maybe a Social Security check that you could earn? Or is that going to come from your TRS pension check? It has to come from somewhere, because TRS is now saying everyone that is Medicare eligible has to get it. And that's to reduce their healthcare cost liability. So it's not getting better in the healthcare market, it's getting a little worse. Also, what are your additional resources that you may have available to help you, whether it's family or you're going to move out of the area, sell the house. Have a plan, develop a strategy, know what you're going to do. Don't wait till you're in the moment to decide, here's my plan. That typically is how we operate. I hate to say it, you're at 3%. Got you. Got you 3%. But we need to really start thinking about this from the time we enter a system that does not pay into Social Security. Okay. I also encourage you to teach and support and advise others to be TRS knowledgeable. A lot of people don't understand what they're working for as a benefit. The new handbook was published January of 2018. Every 2 years, TRS goes to the legislative body, and Austin has proposed rules. Some of those measures get approved, and then that in turn affects your benefit. So last year was one of those years where they had a lot of rules that were approved. The new book came out. Has anyone read the new book? No, I guess I'm the only one. I stay up at night reading that because that's my world. But there are a lot of changes in the book. So be aware of that. Next. And I just wanted to give you some resources. The TRS website, 403B Knowledge. Go to 403bwise.com. That's a great website. And the reason I love that website is because it's not just here in Texas. It's a national body of educators talking about, and they have a women's center on there, but they have a national body giving blogs about, oh, I met this rep from Voya, oh, Valak did this. And it gives you a good broad overview of which products may fit your goals and needs. And also the investment options, there's an entire list. That list is updated at least 3-4 times a year. So the most recent list just got updated here at the end of February. It's important you know that too, because if you're picking an investment option and that investment option is no longer certified under TRS, you may not want to pick that option. You may want to reconsider that option. The reason TRS changes the list so frequently is simply because that particular investment option no longer is suitable for educators. So understand the investment options are available, and 403B Wise is a knowledge center website that you could gain a lot of information. Any questions? Yeah, lots of questions.
I know me. I didn't even know that there was a book.
There is a handbook. There is a handbook. I would just want to throw out anyone here close to retirement. No? I saw some hands. Maybe close to retirement. Have you started your planning? If you are within 5 years of retirement, you should already
What's
be planning.
retirement? Like I've got 37 years. Am I close enough?
Okay.
Get your 40, get your 92%.
If she can.
I did.
But if she can now, when did you retire?
Year and a half ago.
If she can. In the last year, I've probably retired 100 people. None have hit the 92. None. 92.
I love my
It's a great benefit. So you have 37 years. You probably could exit
We're
today.
going to talk.
Yes.
You and I put your number down.
I don't know who she works with, but I'm going to advise her.
Yeah, well, no, I don't work. That's why I'm glad you're here tonight because I've got it.
It is a discussion topic that I encourage you to start developing some thoughts about it, because if you are leaving the system and you are planning on going to work outside of the system, great idea. You're very young, you could do it. Gain the Social Security. My goal is all of my clients to have 4 income streams at retirement, which is how you can have it. Your pension, you must get a Social Security because nobody wants to pay that $147 extra for Medicare that I'm required to have the medical plan that I should have had for free. Okay. You should also, if you did your annuity or an additional 401k or some type of IRA investment, right? You should have that sitting out there. And then if you have the right type of life insurance today is a universal product. So many of them pay a lifetime benefit. So it's just being educated, but you could potentially have multiple sources of income at retirement. There are no questions. I thank you so much for your time.
Do we have your contact information?
Yeah.
I do have my business cards. And so I heard about the vendor situation. It is painful. I am a vendor. And I will need some business cards. And if you contact me, I would be more than happy to call you.
Okay, so Nicole, we can't call you on our own without a freaking vendor.
You can. Yes, you can. You can.
Okay, thank you. Because
yes,
I'm so. Doesn't matter what I say though.
You done with
I'm
this?
sorry.
Yes, you could call me, email me. Never pay for advice. Ask me any questions. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We appreciate your time. Yes.
I just want to, for the entire group, you're never too young or best.
Even $10.
$10 a month, 25. I got my daughter doing $25 a month, but I got her started.
To get her up. Every
I know.
time
Every time she get a raise, he get a raise.
Thank you.
I should be behind.
Thank you, Jesus.
I'm from the old school.
Keep educating her. That's what I do with my kids. Every time you get a raise,
Yeah,
but I'm saying.
it will pay off. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Nicole, you're not leaving, are you? Wait.
Look, JC's like, wait.
I'm not leaving.
All right. And then just slide it on.
Make it big.
All right, so we are going to close out because I know that we do have the NAACP Goldilocks program. I want to just very quickly say, you should have received a link for voting in regards to the changes in the Constitution. Whether we keep the Constitution the same or we decide to stagger our positions, we will have elections in May. So it's either going to be that we have a whole new board come in or we have some new positions come in. Everyone on the board is able to run again, but this is the time where new blood can come in. If there's anyone that's had a desire or you know somebody that needs to have that extra little nudge to say, we believe in you, we would love for you to come and lead, please let us know because May will be the time for us to consider elections. So Any questions, comments, concerns on that? The proposed changes are, a paper copy of it is available by the sign-in sheet as well. We want you to know that if you sign in, everyone that signs in, we will send you your certificate for your hour of CPE credit because, yes, our organization has their, all these acronyms, TEA, CPE, certification. It's a lot of stuff. So you will receive your hour credit for attendance today. So would like to have a closing prayer, and then we're going to watch the video and make sure that you grab some food. Questions, comments, concerns? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Bless you. Bless you. I would like to ask our host to please close us out in prayer.
All right, everyone. Bow our heads. Lord, we thank you for allowing everyone to come together today safely in your presence, Lord. You know, whenever you are present, you know that church is taking place. So although this is a GAABSE meeting, as long as we think about your name, Lord, we are having church up in here today. We thank you for these great minds that you were able to bring here today to provide this good information that could benefit everyone, not only our students, but us as well as we venture into our age of retirement. We ask that you continue to guide us as we close out this school year. Keep us in your thoughts, Lord. Make sure that you provide patience on our tongue as we navigate these last few weeks of school. Yes. We know that the tongue can be spared in two ways. We want to make sure that we are spewing the right thing in your word, Lord. Once again, we just thank you, Lord, for bringing us together. We ask that you continue to do this in your name, Lord. Amen.
Amen. All right, and here's the recap of the gala. Compliments of Angela. Yes, thank you, Angela. That's her. There you go. Oh, yeah. Maybe this one. Oh, okay. Oh, good. What you looked at behind him? Well, that was Dr. Brown. Yeah. That was Dr. Brown. And her husband. That's I'm trying to be. I'm trying to learn how to. That's good. That is so good. You got it. Thank you, guys.
That was yours.
Thank you.